Welcome back to Leap Inspire. He stood before his family and chose wealth over love. He looked into the eyes of the woman who had sacrificed everything for him and walked away. But life has a memory longer than any man's pride. And when Kwame came back, not with flowers, not with apologies, but on his knees begging for his very survival, the only person on earth who could save him was the woman he had thrown away like she meant nothing. The question was never whether she could save him. The question was whether she still had any reason to. This is Abena's story. Abena Osu grew up in the small town of Domeabra. Red clay roads, mango trees, and people who knew each other's names 3 generations back. Her father was a retired schoolteacher. Her mother sold kenki and fish at the market before dawn. They were not wealthy, but they were people of deep dignity. The kind of family where honesty was not a choice, but simply the way things were done. Abena had inherited all of it. She worked as a community health worker, visiting homes, checking on pregnant mothers, carrying medication to the elderly, walking long, dusty roads under the fierce afternoon heat without complaint. The pay was small, the work was endless, but the people of Domeabra trusted her completely. She was naturally beautiful, warm, deep brown skin, natural hair in 2 careful twists, simple, clean clothing, and a smile that came slowly and meant everything it said. And then there was Kwame. Kwame Darko had grown up 3 compounds away, sharp-minded, ambitious, with a laugh that made everyone relax. He earned a scholarship to university in Accra and returned to Domeabra during holidays as proof that a boy from a red clay town could reach somewhere significant. He and Abena had been close since childhood, same roads, same church, same second-hand textbooks. Their friendship deepened so naturally that neither could identify the exact moment it became love. It simply was, like the hills surrounding Domeabra, always there, quietly essential. For 4 years, Kwame and Abena were everything to each other. He called her every evening from Accra. She kept his favorite groundnut cake wrapped and waiting whenever he came home. She helped him through his difficult final year, staying on the phone until midnight after her own 12-hour days. When he graduated, she was the first person he called. When he wept with relief, she was the one who heard it. Everyone in Domeabra assumed they would marry. It was simply the next obvious thing. But then Kwame got a government job in Accra, a real job, a salary that made the elders shake their heads with admiration, and in the city he entered a world Domeabra had never prepared him for. Her name was Akosua Boateng, daughter of a wealthy Accra businessman, educated abroad, always perfectly dressed, moving through city circles with the ease of someone born inside them. She noticed Kwame and decided almost immediately that she wanted him. The calls to Abena became shorter, then less frequent. Then 1 week passed without one, then 2. Abena noticed every gap. She did not accuse, she simply asked quietly whether something had changed. Kwame said no, he was just busy. He was lying, and somewhere deep inside, Abena already knew it. The truth arrived the way it always does in small towns, through someone who had seen something. A cousin sat across from Abena one evening and said carefully, "Abena, there is a woman. I saw them together. It was not the way colleagues sit." Abena sat very still. Then she called Kwame. He answered after the 3rd ring, his voice calm in the way guilty people force themselves to sound. She did not raise her voice, she simply asked for the truth. 1 full minute of silence. Then Kwame spoke the words that rearranged everything. Abena, I think I need to follow this. Akosua and I, it is becoming serious. Her family, her connections, this is a different kind of life. I do not want to hurt you, but I think this is where I am going. She listened to every word. Then she said very quietly, I see, and she ended the call. She did not call back. She did not go to Accra. She folded the 4 years they had shared with the same careful hands she used for everything and put them away. Then she went back to work the next morning, checked on her pregnant mothers, delivered medication to the elderly, walked the dusty roads under the fierce afternoon sun. If she cried, she did it where no one could see. Kwame married Akosua 8 months later. Expensive, elaborate, widely photographed. Someone showed Abena the pictures at the market. She looked at them for a long moment, handed the phone back, and said nothing. Life continued. Abena continued. And slowly, quietly, she rebuilt herself the way strong women always have. Not loudly, not dramatically, but completely. 2 years passed. Then the call came. It was not Kwame who called. It was his mother, Mame Darko, from a number Abena almost did not answer. When she did, the older woman's voice carried nothing except desperation. Abena, I know I have no right. I know what my son did, but he is very sick. The doctors are saying things I do not understand. You are the only person I trust. Abena listened carefully. The symptoms, the test results, the medical language the family could not decode, and as she listened, something cold and significant settled in her chest. She knew exactly what it was. Kwame had a rare blood disorder, aggressive, difficult to manage, requiring a very specific bone marrow match for any treatment to work. Abena had been tested for her own records the previous year. She knew her profile, and she knew, with the precision of someone who understood the details completely, that she was likely a match. She sat with that knowledge for 3 days, told no one, went to work, prayed in the mornings, carried the weight of what she knew entirely alone. On the 4th day, she called Mame Darko back. Tell me which hospital, she said simply. When Abena walked into that hospital in Accra, Kwame was thinner than she had ever seen him, tubes and monitors surrounding him, his city confidence completely gone, replaced by something raw and frightened she had never seen on his face. Akosua sat in the corner in expensive clothing, watching Abena enter with an expression caught between confusion and shame. Kwame saw her and closed his eyes. When he opened them, they were wet. You came, he said. His voice was almost nothing. Your mother called me, Abena replied calmly. She stood at the foot of the bed. Tell me everything the doctors have said. She spent 2 hours going through his records, asked precise questions, took careful notes. Before leaving, she stopped at the door and turned back. I believe I may be a match. I will know within the week. The room went completely silent. Akosua stood slowly. You would do that? She asked slowly. Her voice was not cold. It was genuinely confused. The voice of a woman encountering something she had no framework to understand. Abena looked her calmly. He is a human being who is sick. That is enough reason. She left before anyone could respond. The tests confirmed it. Abena was a match. On the morning of the procedure, Kwame was brought to speak with her briefly. He stood beside her bed looking like a man carrying more than his body was built for. Abena, he said, I do not have words. Then do not use them, she replied gently. I chose wrong, he said. I chose what looked like more, and I lost what actually was more. His voice broke completely. Kwame, she said quietly, I did not come here to hear that. I came because it was the right thing to do. What happened between us belongs to the past. What matters now is that you get better and go home to your family." He wept then, quietly, fully. She did not look away, but she did not reach for him, because some doors, once properly closed, are closed for good reasons.